Hey everybody, JT here, Serenity Farms Prepping. So, have you thought about your personal papers, records, anything like that? Okay, I have hard copies of my birth certificate, my marriage certificate, my divorce agreement, the title to my home, the title to my truck, the title to my car, my four-wheeler, my tractor, my snowmobile, all of my self-defense tools. Anything that I thought was important enough to make a hard copy, it's right here. Someday soon, the regime is going to start sending people around, and when they knock on your door, their first question might be, do you own this house? Yes, I do. Then they're going to say, can you prove it? They don't have to prove that you don't. You have to prove you do. Then you need to back up the hard copies. Little thumb drive. Little E. This is all because of a very likely cyber attack, EMP, even a temporary grid down. Now, temporary could be 6 months or maybe less, but if they do it for 6 months just to start confiscating property and self-defense tools and vehicles, you got to be able to prove they're all yours. Even then, it might be a battle, but at least you got a chance because you got paperwork. Now, what else? I have this little notebook that goes in my safe. And this is everything that someone would need to know about the compound and all the little ins and outs, the little tricks, the little quirks. Okay, like I have solar panels on my porch roof. They come inside to the battery and the charge controller and the inverter and little 12-volt USB plugs and 110 outlets. Not everyone knows how to work that stuff. Now, it's all plugged in and it's ready to go. All you have to do is walk over. You want to charge your phone, you plug your phone in. If you want to plug in a 110-volt item, you just plug it in. As long as the batteries are hooked up and charged, everything works as if you were just plugging it in to a regular outlet of whatever kind it is. But if the batteries became unclamped, okay, mine are wired down so they can't come off unless you physically take them off. They're not the little spiders. But if you have to unhook a charge controller or an inverter, there's a power shutoff. There's a system and an order, a very specific order for turning on the whole system if it's been off, or turning off the whole system when it's on. You just don't walk over and flip a switch. So I have that list by my setup, and I have a list in here in case something happens to that one. And I have another one. I have 3 greenhouses that run with hydroponic setups. I have directions by each particular type. I have my NFT trays, I have my Beto buckets, and then I have a ground system. They all run a little bit different, but basically the same. But then there's nutrients and the mixture. Then there's growing the seeds. And their seeds are in their little incubator. And then the seeds get moved to the nursery step. And then they get added to the trays. Or planting, when to plant. I have tried to document everything that I possibly can in here. I've probably forgot a couple things. If I think of something, I go back in and do it. All of my self-defense. How many rounds I have. What each particular tool takes. There are people who don't know things that we know, but they may have to use them. Now, I try to teach everyone that's in my group, train with all these, know them, that everyone is different, how to load, how to unload. But when people know that someone is around that's always going to be there to show them and help them, when they actually have to do it themselves, especially if under duress, it's going to be stressful and they might forget. They may not have time for all this, but hopefully they do. Even on my vehicles, my tractor, my truck, my car, my side-by-side, snowmobile. I have extra keys for all of those. But they're not hanging in plain sight. People need to know where this stuff is in case those are actually still working. Anything that you can think of that someone else needs to know how to do when you're not around, write it down if you can. After you write it down, show someone how to do it. Then have them show someone how to do it. There's got to be a backup to a backup. It's just common sense. What if I'm out on patrol and the person that's going to show people how to do things has an accident and is incapacitated? Number 3 has to do something. So they need to show someone else while they're doing it, just in case. It'd be wonderful if everyone in every group knew how to do every single thing, but that's not how it's going to work. People are going to have individual titles and job descriptions, and not everybody's going to know how to do them. But you need to know that at least 1 or 2 other people know how to do each one. But definitely get on the records with all the threats we've got of the Democrat regime threatening to take away everything we own, cyber attacks, nuclear attacks. You just got to have these backups, okay? Like, share, subscribe, comment, notification bell. But for now, JT, signing off.